The 10 most beautiful countries on the planet. Like and subscribe. Slovenia. Slovenia is one of Europe's best surprises because it's small but stacked with scenery. About 58% of the country is covered by forests, so green is the default setting, and the air often feels crisp and clean. Lake Bled is the famous shot, with the little island church and the castle above, but it's only the start. Slovenia sits at a crossroads of landscapes: alpine peaks, turquoise rivers, vineyards, and even a short slice of Adriatic coastline. A nerdy but awesome curiosity is karst. The word became a global geology term, and Slovenia is packed with karst caves. Skotjan Caves, a UNESCO site, has massive underground canyons carved by a river, so you get this hidden world under all that green. Another reason Slovenia works great in video is how fast the scenes change. You can hike in the morning, hit a lake at lunch, explore a cave in the afternoon, and still be back in a cozy town for dinner. The vibe is calm, not crowded, and quietly confident. Slovenia doesn't flex, it just delivers. If you want a country that feels like a highlight reel without the tourist chaos, Slovenia is the cheat code for nature lovers. Austria. Austria feels like balance made into a country. It's alpine, clean, calm, and quietly elegant. Nearly 2/3 of the land sits in the Alps, so mountains are not a side trip. They're the backdrop of normal life. You'll see villages tucked into valleys, wooden balconies, flower boxes, and lakes that look like mirrors on still mornings. A cool, historical fact is that Austria adopted permanent neutrality in 1955. And that idea of stability became part of the modern identity. It shows up in infrastructure, public services, and how safe and organized cities tend to feel. Vienna is the headline city, famous for classical music culture, grand architecture, and a strong cafe tradition where people actually sit and talk, not just grab and go. But the countryside is where Austria really wins on visuals. Drives through alpine passes, cable cars to panoramic ridges, and hiking trails that feel perfectly maintained. For video, Austria is great because it blends nature and city without switching moods. It's peaceful, photogenic, and easy to imagine living in, not just visiting. And if you time it right, winter markets, warm pastries, and snowy streets make everything feel cozy, like a real-life holiday movie set. Scotland. Scotland is dramatic beauty, the kind that looks even better when the weather is moody. You get wide highlands, dark lochs, hills wrapped in mist, and castles popping up like the land remembers every story. The light changes fast here, so the same valley can look soft, then intense, then mysterious all in one afternoon. That cinematic vibe is why Scotland feels like a movie set without trying. A cultural curiosity that fits perfectly into a travel script is whiskey. Scotland has a huge network of distilleries, and each region has its own flavor identity shaped by water, air, and time. Even if you don't drink, the idea is cool. The landscape literally influences taste. Scottish identity is strong too, and you feel it in music, accents, local pride, and the way people talk about their hometowns. This isn't a place that sells you sunshine, it sells you atmosphere. And when you stand on a windy ridge, hearing nothing but grass and distance, you get why people fall in love with it. Scotland feels like it has a soul. Take a slow drive on single-track roads, pull over often, and you'll find viewpoints that feel completely private today. Japan. Japan hooks you with balance. It's ultra-modern and deeply traditional at the same time, and somehow it feels smooth, not chaotic. One everyday flex is the train culture. Stations run like clockwork, and punctuality is treated as basic respect, not a bonus. Japan also lives by the seasons. In spring, people do hanami, gathering to watch cherry blossoms like it's a national mood. That sounds simple, but it changes how you travel. You start paying attention to small beauty, not just big landmarks. And yes, the visuals deliver. You can be under neon lights in a mega city, then 15 minutes later, you're in a quiet temple garden with cedar trees and incense. Street life is clean and orderly, but not sterile. Convenience stores are legendary, vending machines are everywhere, and even the smallest neighborhood has its own tiny rituals. Food is a whole storyline too. From ramen counters to sushi mornings at markets, Japan makes you slow down and notice details. It feels safe, efficient, and strangely calming, like the country is teaching your brain a better operating system. And when Mount Fuji shows up on a clear day, everyone stops, takes photos, and smiles like kids again. Italy. Italy is one of those rare places where beauty isn't just scenery, it's lifestyle. Yes, the landscapes are insane. Alpine peaks in the north, rolling hills and vineyards in the center, and coastlines that look like paintings in the south. But what hits you is how history is everywhere and still feels alive. Italy has more UNESCO World Heritage Sites than any other country, which explains why you keep stumbling into ancient ruins, medieval streets, and Renaissance squares like it's normal. Then there's the everyday magic. Espresso bars buzzing in the morning, people talking with their hands, laundry hanging from balconies, and sunsets turning stone buildings gold. Food isn't just food here, it's identity. Meals are slow, social, and kind of sacred, and each region has its own rules, recipes, and pride. For a travel video, Italy is perfect because it gives you contrast non-stop. 1 minute you're quiet on a hill road, the next you're in a loud piazza, then you're staring at the sea from a cliff. Italy makes you stop chasing efficiency and start collecting moments. It feels human, messy, warm, and unforgettable. Even a simple train ride feels romantic because every window frame looks curated today. Canada. Canada is beauty on a massive scale, the kind that makes you understand the word space. It's the second largest country on Earth, and it stretches across 6 time zones, so even the clock feels big here. A cool geography fact. Canada has more lakes than any other country, and water shapes everything, from city life to road trips through wilderness. In places like the Rockies, the lakes turn unreal shades of blue and green because of rock flour from glaciers, and it looks edited, but it isn't. The forests feel endless, and in many regions wildlife is not rare. Moose, bears, and wolves aren't just stories, they're part of the ecosystem, so you travel with respect and awareness. What makes Canada special on camera is the calm. The mountains don't feel aggressive, they feel steady. The skies feel wide, the air feels cold and clean. And culturally, Canada has this reputation for politeness and order which matches the landscapes. Nothing screams, everything breathes. It's the kind of country where a simple drive becomes a reset, and you start thinking in longer horizons, not faster minutes. Grab a coffee, hit the highway, and you'll keep saying wow at random stops. Iceland. Iceland feels like Earth in beta mode, still testing features. You drive past black lava fields, then suddenly you're staring at a glacier, then a waterfall the size of a building, and steam is rising from the ground like the planet is breathing. A big real-world fact. Iceland runs heavily on renewables, especially hydropower and geothermal energy, so the same heat under your feet warms homes and fills outdoor pools, even when it's freezing. That's why you'll see people soaking in hot water while snow drifts around them, looking totally unbothered. The country is lightly populated, so the emptiness hits different. Long roads, wide skies, and less noise makes your thoughts louder in a clean way. Iceland's weather is chaotic, but it's part of the vibe. Sun, rain, wind, and fog can rotate in one afternoon, and the light makes everything look cinematic. This is not a place that pampers you, it resets you. And the land is so volcanic that new landscapes can appear, then change again. Locals love their hot springs, and even in Reykjavik, you'll find people grabbing a quick dip after work. After a few days, you start craving silence and fresh air, everywhere, honestly. Norway. Norway is the kind of beautiful that makes you automatically lower your voice. The fjords are the headline, and there's real science behind the wow. Glaciers carved deep U-shaped valleys over ages, and when the ice retreated, the sea flooded in, creating those dramatic inlets. Stand on a cliff above a fjord, and you feel tiny, but in a good way, like your brain finally gets a break from being the main character. Another mind-bender is the midnight sun. In parts of northern Norway, summer nights don't really go dark, so time feels soft and weird, like the day refuses to end. Norwegians lean into nature instead of fighting it. Cabins, hikes, ski days, and quiet weekends are normal, not fancy. You'll see small villages tucked between water and rock, bright houses against grey mountains, and roads that look like they were drawn just to show off the view. Even the weather feels honest. It can be cold, windy, and moody, but it matches the landscape perfectly. Norway doesn't try to entertain you. Catch the aurora in winter, and it feels like the sky whispers back. People here love friluftsliv, basically living outside, no matter the season too. New Zealand. New Zealand feels like the world hit the reset button and kept the best parts. It's far away, which somehow makes everything feel quieter, cleaner, and more open. Cool detail. The country recognizes 3 official languages: English, Maori, and New Zealand Sign Language, and Maori culture shapes how people talk about land and place. Another fun fact that always gets reactions: there are no native land snakes, so hiking feels less tense and more chill. Now picture a road trip on the South Island. 1 hour you're by a glassy lake, next you're in a valley under jagged peaks, then suddenly you're on a wild coast with wind that smells like pure ocean. A huge chunk of the country is protected as national parks and reserves, so the landscapes stay genuinely big and untouched. The famous kiwi bird, which can't fly, became a national symbol, and even the nickname for locals, Kiwis, which makes the whole place feel friendly and down to earth. New Zealand is cinematic without trying. It's the kind of scenery that makes you talk softer, laugh more, and just keep driving because every turn looks unreal for real. And the stargazing at night is ridiculously good. Switzerland. Switzerland is that place that looks like a postcard, but somehow it's just normal life there. You've got huge alpine peaks, insanely clear lakes, and villages so tidy you'd swear someone resets them every morning. Fun fact, Switzerland has 4 national languages, so the vibe shifts as you move through German, French, Italian, and Romansh regions. Another mind-blowing detail is how they cross the Alps. Instead of fighting steep roads, they built the Gotthard Base Tunnel, a 57-kilometer rail tunnel under the mountains, so trains glide through like it's nothing. And it's not just scenery. Switzerland runs on a strong civic culture, With direct democracy, people vote often on local and national issues, so there's this shared feeling of we own this place. You see it in the clean streets, the quiet rules, and how nature is protected without drama. Travel here feels like exhaling. One minute you're by a lake that looks edited, the next you're on a trail with cowbells in the distance. And yes, the tap water tastes like glacier melt on hot days. If you want a trip that feels premium but peaceful, Switzerland delivers, and it leaves you calmer than when you arrived.